Hey viewers, welcome to another game with Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing Solar versus Snute, and Snute is in the top left corner, whereas Solar is then in the bottom right corner. This is obviously a Zerg versus Zerg, and this is the final of D8, the tournament with 8 players. I don't really know anything about the history of this, so just going to throw that out there. If you want to know more, obviously that's why we have Google. So go find it out for yourself. But, well, these are two really good players, and this should be a good matchup. Although I have to say, well, you should know that by now if you watch more of my commentaries. I don't really like the mirror matchups. Although they can be interesting at times, most of the time we see that people just go for similar builds and then it's all about, well, micro and things like that. But there's not a lot of tactic involved. It's more the player who can control his units the best or who gets luckiest with the targeting. And obviously that is not why I watch these games. So anyhow, we see some pretty standard stuff going on. Both players doing the same thing. So yeah, just the standard stuff coming up. No early spawning pools. No, well, no surprises as of yet. Currently, we're just going around and doing our stuff, and it seems that we are going out now for early hatchery in the bottom. There goes the other one. Okay, so both of them are going to spend a drone on actually expanding here, and they are going to, well, drone up further, because that's what you do on big maps. On big maps, it's mostly important that you just scout around a little bit, but more importantly, before you know that your opponent actually has the capability of doing anything, and well, we have some severe lag issues. I'm hoping they clear up, but well, so far they have been pretty terrible. I don't know what they changed in the game to cause all these lags nowadays, but it's definitely not good. Anyway, yeah, you basically expand because you know that your opponent has really no way of attacking your base without losing his entire economy in the process. So yeah, you expand and you're assuming that it won't result in anything, well, terrible. Spawning pool coming up for both of them. Also, the hatchery is, well, pretty much the same. Then Overlord's coming up, and we see a single extractor here going down, which means a Zergling speed normally. So 3 workers on that. He should have 50 minerals, or sorry, gas, or 100 gas, I think it is, before too long. And this guy already was mining, so yeah. Apparently, well, one of them wants to go for this. I think this guy wants to go for the speed upgrade, but not doing that. Interesting. So normally early gas is just for the speed upgrade if you want that straight away. And if you want that straight away and you get some links out, you can do pretty well. But yeah, with a more of a well, economy-based strategy, which we see here, most people will go into roaches. So just throwing that out there, it's not entirely true all the time, of course, but skipping the entire Zergling line is not a bad thing if you have the economy to support roaches, and if there's no aggression coming your way, and since both of them can just scout around in the bases, should be no problem. Queens can be built, of course, now. And I'm assuming they will come out shortly. Well, actually, there are 2 out already. Normally, we see a couple more just for the defense. Well, for the creep spread as well, of course. And there he goes. No, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Creep tumors going down. Of course, creep tumors are one of your main things that you do with... there's another queen. That's what I was expecting. So it's one of the main things for your queens to do in the early part of the game, outside of course, spawning some extra larvae, which you should do as often as possible. But yeah, it's so important to get that creep spread in any matchup. But of course, in this matchup, it will give the benefits to both you and your opponent, except for division. It will only give you division. And we see that an evolution chamber is actually... oh wow, he blocked off his own building placement there. He blocks off the wall, the entrance here. the ramp with an evolution chamber and a roach warren. Of course, that did get spotted by the Zerglings, and yeah, he might actually counter that with his own Zergling, or sorry, his own no Baneling nest. Wow. Normally we see a counter, of course, be to roaches is roaches, because, well, there's really not a unit that can do very well against it, well, except for air units. Because if you go air units, there's really nothing the roaches can do against it. But they're not very good against it, because roaches, yeah, they are very hard to kill, and with a low damage unit like a Mutalisk, it takes forever to kill them, so you normally don't go for that. Plus it costs you a lot of resources to actually get there, and then, well, you kind of are behind on everything to begin with. So we do see some missile attacks, so I'm assuming there's a roach warren coming up as well. Because, well, with banelings you don't really need the... I'm just looking, I'm sorry. With banelings you don't really need the range upgrade, obviously. Well, we'll have to see. Banelings, I think, just not going to do anything here, but they might actually snipe some drones at some point. It's just that normally we see that banelings, yeah, they're good against Zerglings, but not so much against anything else. So all of the overlords, overseer here, just scouting around, but trying to avoid the queens as much as possible. Because, yeah, meeting a queen is very painful. They do quite a lot of damage. And here we see the Zerglings at least going out. They do have speed now, obviously. And they should be able to do some damage as long as they don't run into this roach army. But the roach army is just going to annihilate the entire enemy base. Because roaches are way, way, way better than anything this Snute guy has. No, Snute doesn't really have anything to deal with this, except for a few spine crawlers, but yeah, those are not here. And Roach Warren is up, so he can make his own roaches, but look at that, one-shotting a queen, and just anything that comes out of these eggs is just going to get one shot. There is really not a whole lot he can do about that, and yeah, while we watch this, I want to, well, draw your attention to the fact that the Lynx did get into the, well, the front of the base, but didn't really get past it. So, Roach is coming out now, and is he actually going to snipe this hatchery? It seems that he's perfectly willing to trade roaches here, and yeah, there you go. Yeah, he was holding the base for, or his ground for quite a while, and then decided, well, let's just snipe this this base and get out of there with everything that I have left, which is actually quite a lot. He still has a decent roach army. Of course, he puts his enemy very far behind, and I did look up the things for this. Hang on, Control A apparently gives us some army and workers, and we can also see the units killed. So workers killed, 10 workers killed, and that is pretty good. So yeah, lots of worker kills, as well as, of course, the snipe on the... hang on. Yeah, I don't know who killed the workers. I'm assuming the blue guy killed them, but yeah, well, it doesn't really specify whether there are 10 workers killed on the red side or on the blue side, or that the blue guy killed 10 workers. But, well, we'll find that out immediately in the next game once someone's worker goes down in the beginning. But because scouting drones normally, yeah, they get sniped. But there aren't a lot of scouting drones around, so yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, just rebuilding the economy here, and he's going to have to tack to something else, I guess. Because roaches on roaches, yeah, that's kind of whoever has the most economy will win that. Because, well, bigger roach army will defeat smaller roach army in general. But, yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. I mean, you can, of course, tack to, as I said, air units, but that is very costly and is normally not the way to go. And there's not a whole lot else that can deal with these roaches. Is the Overlord? No, Overseer, sorry. It actually doesn't get out at all, and yeah, well, No vision for you, I guess. So one roach here doing nothing. He needs to have all his roaches here. And I'm just waiting for the big battle. I think it's quite a long ways off because obviously Snute doesn't want to fight, and Solar here is not really ready to fight in his opinion, because he wants to, well, I don't really know what he wants. He wants to wait for the upgrade probably. So yeah, missile attacks level 2 would be a good point to actually start attacking. Baneling, lots of banelings in fact. So lots of baneling eggs hatching there, and maybe he's waiting for that. But banelings versus roach, yeah, I guess if they can all land, they do a pretty significant amount of damage. But roach on roach, yeah, you just get so much damage done. And yeah, roaches are just very good at absorbing damage. They have a lot of HP. So yeah, with the few banelings, I guess it is definitely worth it. And on two fronts, getting sandwiched a little bit here, but he has enough roaches to fight on both sides. And there you go, the banelings go in and actually do quite a lot of damage. Yeah, normally we see that the roaches can actually pick them off, but because they were already fighting the enemy roaches, there is really no way you can micro that to actually kill the banelings before they hit. Lots of guys going down, and this should be good enough because the blue army is virtually untouched, except for a little bit of the HP, but not a lot of units actually died, whereas the red army just completely annihilated here. Perfect concave, and yeah, nothing you can do about that. But as I said, roach on roach is normally just whoever has the biggest economy, that's the player who wins, and you can definitely see that in the army counts. But yeah, I guess that's Zerg versus Zerg for you. Let's get on to game number 2, and I'll see you there. GG.